Volt, and it's good. We like it. But let's talk about some specifics and compare it to the old Volt, or at least what we remember of it. It's been a little while since we've had one, but I think we can draw some comparisons between the differences. This is overall just a much more refined, much nicer car to drive and live with. Same deal on the back. We've got the hatchback situation with plenty of room. This is where you're keeping the battery, or not the battery, but the battery charger. Kind of a flimsy door, but hey, it is what it is. Back seats, still a 2+2 4-seater layout. Plenty of headroom and legroom. Again, I'm 5'10", that's set to my driving position up front, and it feels pretty good back here. Could do with a little bit more headroom, but that's alright. I really like these interior accents. They've done a nice job making the plastic look like leather, and I think it looks pretty good. So, new things for the 2016 Volt. We have about 53 miles of EV range, so more efficiency, stronger acceleration, 420 miles of total driving range, and I guess you can fit a fifth passenger back there. It's just you have to kind of straddle the cup holders, because there is a seatbelt for them. One of the immediate things I've noticed with this new Volt is how much quieter it is in the hold mode, or in the gasoline engine mode when the generator is running. There's a button behind the steering wheel that does brake regeneration. Right now we're in EV mode, and acceleration is pretty strong. Of course, it's instant like any electric car. Pulls up to 60 pretty quickly. Handling seems to be a little bit better. I'm noticing this chassis being a slight bit stiffer than the previous generation Volt. It's very neutral, seems to rotate pretty easily, and these tires do pretty well in the dry. Highway power, passing power is pretty decent. Here we are going 70 miles an hour. Gets up to 80 in no time. Let's put it in hold mode. That kind of puts the battery on hold, and it's probably the best way to go when you're driving on the highway for extended periods, just because the highway does suck up a lot of battery juice. We did about a 150-mile trip in this earlier this week, and on the highway with using the gas generator, we got around 37.5 miles to the gallon on the highway, and we did about 44 miles range on electric power, and that was a mix of city, country, and highway driving. It wasn't slower city driving, which is more ideal for using the battery, and also it was pretty cold out. It was about around 35-40 degrees, which does reduce your range pretty significantly. So that's full throttle in hold mode. You can hear a little bit of engine in the background, but it's not as loud and whirring as it used to be. There also seems to be a little bit more of a linear relationship between the engine sound and the sound of it coming on and your throttle inputs. The previous generation Volt used to have some weird things happen with the generator where it would turn on when you weren't necessarily pressing the throttle, just to give the battery a little bit more juice, and this doesn't seem to do that. This car it's just so quiet. It's virtually silent when you're cruising. All you hear is tire and wind noise. Today it's getting a little bit windy right now because we've got a rainstorm coming in. But it's still not too bad. High-speed handling feels pretty good. Brakes are strong. No funny things going on with the brake pedal. You can feel a little bit of a difference between when you go from regeneration into the actual braking system, but it's a very linear pedal. It feels pretty good. It's easy to modulate. All right, let's put it back into electric mode here. I usually just leave it in normal. Sport mode just gives you a little bit more of an aggressive throttle map. We'll take this corner, we'll brake using the button behind the steering wheel. There's a pretty significant amount of regeneration from the battery. It'll definitely slow you down for most situations. If you put it into L, that'll do the regeneration by just letting off the throttle. Similar to B mode in a Prius, or if you're just driving a Tesla normally when you let off the throttle. Lots of torque. Yeah, this new Volt has plenty of power. I'm also really impressed with the turning radius. Check this out. Pretty good. Ride seems to be a little bit stiffer, but still it's very comfortable. There's a tiny amount of float over larger crests and undulations, but the primary ride is excellent over bumps. There isn't a lot of noise coming into the cabin, and it's a really pretty quiet car to drive. Definitely a welcome experience coming in these Michigan roads, which are all pretty terrible. Car seems to be pretty well buttoned together. Nothing really in terms of rattles this week. There's been something kind of buzzing around up top, but other than that, this car is really quiet. In an electric car or in a hybrid, you really begin to notice any rattles that do present themselves. And GM has done a good job taking pretty much all of those out. Let's take a couple quicker turns here. Turn-in is a lot sharper than it used to be, and it does hold its line. I mean, you can really feel that low center of gravity in this car. So, from a driving perspective, the Volt is just a little bit more grown up. feels quite a bit more refined. I think it looks better inside and out. And really, this is a nice package. It feels kind of strange to say this, but I'm not sure if it's as sporty feeling as the new Prius. The new Prius is actually pretty fun to drive, and it handles really well. The Volt's a little bit softer. It's a little bit more comfortable, has a little bit more float and undulation over bumps. Yeah, it'd be an interesting comparison to drive the two back to back. But really, when you're buying a car like this, I think that your decision between going with a Prius or going with a Volt, one, it might have to do with the looks, and it might have to do with the image or the brand, but also depends how you're going to use the car. If your commute is under 50 miles or under 40 miles, the Volt is almost a no-brainer because you can drive there on full electricity. And then bonus points if you can charge your car at work. If your commute's 25 miles or 20 miles, you could go make the whole round trip on electricity. That's what I do when I go to my photography studio. Is from Livonia to Ypsilanti, it's about 45 miles round trip. I can do it completely on electricity. I don't have to turn on the engine once. There's something to be said for that. So it has the range for longer trips and longer journeys. But chances are, if you have a nice garage where you can charge it, you're not going to be using the gas engine very much. And that 37 miles to the gallon on the highway isn't really going to hurt you. Definitely upped the game on the handling front with this Volt. It feels a lot more adjustable. It's neutral. It doesn't understeer quite as much. It feels good. Eco tires have come a long way. So slowing down from 60 miles an hour just with regeneration there. Of course, if you drive like this, you won't get very good range at all, but hey, if I were driving slowly, you guys would be bored. I like this infotainment system too. The touch points are all pretty good. It seems to be very responsive. It's quick. It shows you good information. Here you can see kind of your overview for how much percentage of your battery you've used. So we've done 50% of our battery on driving, 1% using climate settings, other is 0%. I'm not really sure what other would be. And then the other screen shows you your miles per gallon and range on the gas engine and your range on the electric motor. Of course, there's no limited slip differential. So if you're full throttle and you're turning, you're going to spin the inside wheel. Another nice thing about these cars is they have Apple Play. Works pretty well. You seamlessly integrate your iPhone with the car's audio settings and navigation. Yeah, I do like this touchscreen. It works pretty well. Alright guys, well, I think that wraps it up for the 2016 Chevrolet Volt. We will see you guys next time.